Welcome back to Corner Cafe. This is the weekly special. And I love our conversations. A lot of the times we don't plan what we're going to talk about, or at least I don't plan. I'm always like, Kirk, Sandra, what do you want to talk about? So guys.
Kirk looks like he's studying for a math exam.
I'm trying to keep, I have this, where I'm sitting right now, I have this one little corner where the sun, like just at this time, it comes through like for 5 minutes. It's like I'm on the sun and it's blinding one side of my face. So I'm kind of hiding my face from the sun a little bit. And it's like driving me crazy. But in a couple of minutes, it'll be a non-issue at all. What do you all think will be the new norm? Like, we talked about, the one jazz club, here in town saying that they were going to close. And then I think, as the president has begun to push for churches or places of worship to open back up, I guess you can say, I mean, to some degree, churches it's a loose comparison, but churches like businesses have to figure out how to do that in terms of making people feel comfortable, making people feel safe. Some stores, Costco, for example, you got to have a mask on, a face mask on just to walk in the door. The grocery store, a block away, not necessarily. They might want you to, but they're not making you. So, I think as we go forward, not even just concerts, but if we think about corporate worship, what does that look like? Is it, what do people say when the pastor says, touch your neighbor or grab the hand of your neighbor or whatever? People say, I ain't touching my neighbor. What does that look like? I think it's going to be fascinating a year from now, or even 3 or 5 years from now, to look back at remember when, and I think the upcoming football season is going to dictate some of that in terms of, when people start to get back together in stadiums. And, I don't know, but I think it's just a fascinating concept of just the idea. We are literally on the precipice, on the doorstep of a completely new norm that we couldn't conceive 2 months ago.
Right. Yeah, and I'm hoping for myself anyways, and I'm seeing this in other believers, just to press forward and to show the love of God, and to show also there's to not live in fear, and to be a person of hope, to give hope and joy to people, and a reason really for life. And so just to be grounded in our belief system, and to be able to show people who are struggling that there is hope, and I have that answer for you in Christ.
I also refuse to live in fear.
Right.
And I think when a lot of this started, I feel like anyway, fear was kind of the thing that was used to control the narrative, I guess you can say. And so, what that fine line is between wisdom and fear, maybe that's something to be explored as well.
I agree with everything that you guys are saying too. But my great aunt passed away 3 weeks ago from the virus, and my sister's very vulnerable to the virus. My grandma's super vulnerable. And so I feel so conflicted, because I'm like, yes, we're not supposed to live in fear, but also, what does it hurt for people to wear a mask right now if inside? And so I know a lot of people are kind of upset, and they're like, I'm healthy, I'm fine. But there's a lot of people that are very vulnerable to getting sick. And even though the statistics it's all kind of up in the air right now, and we need to do that research, Rachel, that you were sharing about. It's just, I think, because in the uncertainty, just to care for other people and their vulnerability.
I agree. Yeah, and that comes with, honoring people and then respecting people too. Right, because if you think that someone or children or pregnant woman, then I was like, I'll be gladly put on a mask, gladly to stay certain a distance, because I honor and want to respect people too.
Right.
Where Paul says, if you're going into somebody's house, even though you don't have a problem with eating this particular food, but if they do, well, just to keep the peace between Christian brothers, just don't eat that food. So it's like the moral of the story is walk in love, right? So even though I'm whatever, if I know the person in front of me is challenged or whatever, I just walk in love, right? So then I put them out.
Right.
I'm thinking, well, I don't need this, but the whole point of the scenario is to walk in love. Love's the great good and the greater
right.
gift, I guess, that the Lord wants us to walk in. So yeah, it's a great conversation, guys. So let's just keep on walking in love and praying
Amen.
and moving forward.